You can see how I've placed my first word inside my lion where my strokes are. So here's how I did that. You start with a piece of text and you can type that anywhere. And I'm going to use all caps and I'm going to type the word this time elegant. And I'm going to change my color of that text by choosing my color, and I'm going to make this one red this time. Now let me show you something here. What if I was set to red? Okay, so it's set to red right now, and I'm going to go back into that. What if I wanted it to be this exact same color? Well, this is what you do. When you click on the color, you just bring your crosshair down to that exact same color of the gold, and you see it changes to that exact same color. So that wherever you click, you see I just clicked on a leaf, and so it grabbed that exact same color of the leaf. If I click over here on the tree, it'll grab that exact same color of wherever I click. So it's a really neat way to be able to get different colors that you want to be able to use. So I'm going to leave mine as red. And here's another thing for sizing. Instead of going into this drop down arrow and choosing your size this way, you can actually do it quickly. Notice how when I put my mouse over top of the word size, it changes to this little double-headed arrow. So if I click and drag, I'm actually just making it bigger or smaller. And so you can do that. So I'm going to place this word elegant kind of in this area here. I'm going to have it be part of the main is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to check that. Now you can rotate through this warp button that you see right here. Actually, you can't rotate. This is a different button here. So let me rotate first. Rotate is, you can do a free transform. Notice the shortcut, Alt-Control-T. Or we can transform the perspective, which works a little bit differently when it's in text. So I'm just going to do the regular free transform, and I can rotate this whichever way I want to go. I'm going to have this one go this way this time, and I can move it down into here. And I'm going to kind of place it in that area, and you could stretch it on your points of how you want it to kind of stretch and be able to place it sort of where you want it to go. Now, the warp tool lets me do some warping. For example, here's a bulge. And so if I bulge it, then I can decide how much of a bulge I want to do. So you can use this for being able to bulge things out and kind of get it the way you want it to look, but it's not exact. Now to get it exact, I want you to notice something here. Over on the layer panel, you see how this text layer has got a T for an icon, and these other layers have just got the transparent gray and white crosshairs on them. So the difference here is this. T means that it's text, editable text. I can go into that at any point in time. I can change the words. I can change the font. I can change the color. I can change the size of the font. So it is still font. I can change the capitals. These ones, because they are showing with that graphic background, they are a shape. And so I'm going to take my word elegant and I'm going to turn it into a shape. Notice that my word roar doesn't have a T anymore on it. So I've turned it into a shape. Now, once you do this, that's no longer editable text. So at this point, my roar, being a graphic shape, I can't go back and change that to a different word. I couldn't go back and make that now all capital letters because it's set. So how we do that is we rasterize. To rasterize, you right click on the layer and you say rasterize. And notice my word elegant is no longer a T. It has now changed into a graphic shape. Well, now a few things happen. When I go into this transform, I have a new transformation now called perspective and called warp. When I go into warp, you'll see there are all of a sudden some different points that I can warp this on. So now I can start to drag. And I can drag, you see, my different points. So I can really make this thing shape the way I want it to. And I can manipulate that. I can manipulate it through here. You get my word elegant, and you can start to push and you can start to pull. You can get your letters the way that you want them to be around your design that you've actually created with your strokes. And it takes some playing around to get it to look correctly, But when you get it correct, then you can just check mark it as before. Continue making a bunch of words all through the different parts of your lion. I'm not going to finish mine. You can see enough how I've done that. I'm going to go on to the last step. So the last step, once you have all of your words in there, is to sit on the layer where you've got your strokes. And we're going to create a blank layer above it. So I'm just going to hit this new layer button that you can see down here beside the garbage can. There's a new layer, and I'm going to fill that layer with a background color. So I think my fill tool, paint bucket, is sitting right here, same place as it is in Photoshop. I'm going to choose my color, and I'm going to choose black. And make sure that you're still on that same layer 1. And I'm going to click to fill it. And notice how it is now a black background. My strokes aren't showing anymore, and so what you should be left with is just the shape of your animal when you've got it done. Now, here's a word of caution for you. Please make sure that you are saving every word or so, because mine already crashed once on me, and so I had luckily saved as I was going through and making mine. When you save, file, save as a PSD, and then it'll ask you where you want to save. It'll always want to try and save it with a new number 1 on it. I am just saving over top of my Lion word art each time that I do it, and it tells me it exists and I want to replace it. Yes. So that way I don't have various different copies of that lion that's on there.